Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here. And let's wake up the football gods on this. Wake up. Wake up. On this Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everybody. I hope everybody is well. I hope everybody is safe. And, we all have to do the best that we can to get through this. And it appears that it seems like there's some good things that are beginning to start taking hold. There's still a long ways to go, but you can start to feel like what we're doing is working. And that is keeping your behind at home. Let's keep doing this thing and let's get through this thing so that way we can be back to some sense of normalcy. So today on this Sunday, as we sit 11 days, 9 hours, 43 minutes, and 50 seconds away from the NFL draft. It's hard to believe that it's that close. The future players for the Dallas Cowboys are going to be key. It always is. The draft is how you build a team. And it's funny, well, before I get to the draft, though, I just want to go back through. Yesterday, TM Sleaze went through and they had posted a video from Dak Prescott's house where it was alleged that they had a party with 30 people there. Now, there's always multiple facets to a story. They showed a picture of a woman and Zeke Elliott, where she's smiling. Zeke's kind of in the back there texting somebody. And then they showed food on the table. No pictures of a whole big crowd that they allege and all that. I don't know. I know people are going to say, you're just defending Dak and things like that. I'm just saying that a lot of times things aren't as they appear. And supposedly the police actually came and there was no evidence. I don't know who called the police about it, but there was no evidence of them having a party and things like that. So stay tuned for more details as this goes. It just, when I saw the pictures of Dak Prescott, who was carrying 2 bags of food, that didn't look like enough food for 30 people. Now, I know young people may not eat as much as I do, but I was like, I can put a big dent in that myself. But, be that as it may, we'll wait and see what we get from that. But back to the draft. So, shout out to Omar. Omar sent me this link to an article and stuff. Omar gets me on Twitter and things, and he ends up, being one of those reasons why I'm able to do this, because people like Miss Jackie or Miss Anita or Emily Ann and other people will share stuff on it, so that way it's like making sure that I got it. A lot of times I've already got the video up on it and things, but to make sure that I'm not sleeping on the Dallas Cowboys. But this is interesting, and this is one of those ones that I kind of talked about this on Friday night because somebody had said on my live stream that Jerry Jones is the worst GM in the NFL. And I said, wait. I said, hold up for a second. I said, what you can't argue with is what the Dallas Cowboys have done as far as acquiring a talent, homegrown talent, as in drafting players. I said, I believe that the Dallas Cowboys over the last 10 years, since they've had Will McClay, that the Dallas Cowboys have had more Pro Bowl players than anybody else. The problem was getting talent. The problem was doing something with the talent. Now, you could say he was a terrible GM because we kept Jason Garrett. But you can't look at the players that we've had come through our organization and you scratch your head the fact that you had 2 NFL great running backs in the last 10 years between DeMarco Murray setting the Dallas Cowboys record. The fact that you've had Tony Romo and Dak Prescott that have come through your organization. You have gone through with basically 1 year without a quarterback over the last 10 years. 1 year. And that's because Tony Romo got hurt. You can look at the offensive linemen from Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin, that were all greats. You can look at the DeMarcus Lawrences. You can just look at the insane amount of talent that we've had. The problem is we haven't done shit with them on the field. But the GM's job is to get the people on the field in a position to win and hopefully have the people that can do something with it. So they've addressed that situation. But this actually amazed me because 2009 through 2018 drafting, The Dallas Cowboys have hit on more first round players. And the way they're measuring it in this article is by the amount of Pro Bowls. So from 2009, and 2009 was terrible draft for us. We didn't have a first round pick. And within 3 years of that draft, we didn't have anybody even in the NFL from that draft. So that was how bad that was. But that's when Will McClay came on board and things changed. So since that time, 2009 to 2018, the Dallas Cowboys have had 26 Pro Bowl appearances, which is incredible. And blew my mind as you go through this article even further, that when you go back through, let me go all the way down, that was better than even when Jimmy Johnson era was here. So when you think about from 1989, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, to 98, they had 10 picks. 10 picks. 10 picks. We only had 16 Pro Bowlers. And the amazing thing on that, 10 picks in the first round. Troy Aikman was 6 of those Pro Bowl appearances. Emmitt Smith was 8. Russell Maryland was 1, and Greg Ellis was 1. So you're sitting here looking at that and thinking, wow. Now, you couldn't argue with, you would have thought that 99 to 2008, that would have been poor, but that had the same number of first round hits as you did during Jimmy Johnson's era. It almost, I literally spit my coffee out when I saw this. We had 16. DeMarcus Ware with 7, Roy Williams with 5, Terrence Newman with 2, Anthony Spencer with 1, and Mike Jenkins with 1. Yeah, Mike Jenkins, wow. That's actually pretty amazing. You're talking about 10 more Pro Bowl appearances during this era versus what we did during our Super Bowl years. Now, the difference, though, let's go ahead and call it like it is. The difference is Jimmy Johnson found a lot of great players later in the draft. And that's one of those areas that we've been okay. We haven't been great with it. And when you think about the last 10 years, first round picks that didn't really do well, you can't put Tristan Hill in there yet because it's only been 1 year. Tristan Hill was a second round pick. Excuse me. You have to look at it from Morris Claiborne, although he does have a Super Bowl ring. And you got, look at Taco Charlton, excuse me, are the only 2 first rounders that you didn't really do well with. And that's a pretty good track record. So if we can do that, if we can get a great player in that first round, then hallelujah. It definitely hurt us not having one last year, and that's one of the reasons why I say there's no chance on a Jamal Adams trade, because the Cowboys, they want that first round pick. They want that first round pick. They did okay with the trade of that first round, but they'll never do that again. But during this whole time of upheaval, you realize how people will do things for attention. We know ESPN is doing tons of it. That ESPN and TMZ and things, they're going for the shock value of things, because when you say stuff that's just outlandish or crazy, you're going to get a reaction. You're going to. And with the lack of news and stuff going on in sports, people are in overdrive to try and get people to respond. So I'm sitting here this morning, and I'm going through the Facebook, and I came across this post in a Facebook group, Dallas Cowboy fans. And this person, I'm not even going to give him credit and give him his name on here. Jerry, if you're reading this, instead of paying Dak Prescott to a long-term deal, I think you should donate the money to the coronavirus. Now, relief fund. Now, I have no problem with donating money to the relief fund. But with Jerry Jones having so much money, he got more than just Dak Prescott's money. So you started out with a great idea. So we can have football sooner. So he's saying, donate that money so we can have football sooner. Instead of wasting your money on somebody who isn't a top 20 QB in the NFL, either trade up to get Tua or Jalen, or get Joe Flacco or Cam Newton. Case in point, this post had over 532 comments on it. So he's got his 5 minutes of fame on this. Now, I'm just thinking here. Tua is dropping out of the top 10. You might be able to get Tua without having to trade up. So that's the first thing. Because teams are beginning to find out that there's been more injury history with him than what was actually documented. You know, with the coming back from hip surgery, you can't really go out and just test him and find out how is that hip. And, you know, when you start thinking about if you're a team that's a young team that doesn't have a great offensive line, that he's going to be coming to the NFL where he doesn't have, you know, a talent base that's better than most of the people he's playing, that he's going to get hit. And you're starting to talk about investing a first-round draft pick on a guy, and you're not sure if he is going to make it. And the funny thing about quarterbacks is a lot of them look really, really good in college, but they get to the pros, and it's kind of like, not really. So then you're talking about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, who is now a journeyman quarterback. Baltimore, he had one of the historically best defenses in the history of football, who didn't pan out even in Denver. It's kind of washed up. Then you got Cam Newton, who has been released by Carolina, who you're not even sure what kind of shape his body is in. Come on, man. And then you're going to say he's not even a top 20 quarterback? Come on, dude. You should get a job for ESPN. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, as always, I want to thank you guys for being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Sitting here running some different ideas. I'm thinking about doing a live stream call-in show. Also, we may end up watching the Rams game today, and we can kind of go ahead and look at the difference of what the Cowboys did in that Rams games versus the Eagles game the week after, and see if there was actually a difference. See if this team was a Jekyll and Hyde. And with that being said, we're done this morning. Hope you all have a great Easter. Keep doing what you're doing because we're beginning to flatten this curve out here. And as always, I want to thank you guys for being here. I'll see you soon.